Board categories today are the library, the world, 19th century Europe, the earth, trains, and animals. On the left, Dustin, you can kick things off. What would you like?
I'm going to do animals for 100.
Animals for 100. Rarely seen to die of old age in the wild, it's mistakenly thought they have a secret graveyard.
What are orcas?
Orcas, that's a good answer. Do you have any idea, Paul? I don't, but you might as well have a guess.
We were actually going in the same direction. I was thinking blue whale.
Ah, okay. Well, that could be blue whale. So if you get that correct, you'll get the points. If it's orcas, Dustin gets it. It's elephants. You know, as dumb as I am, I thought it was elephants. Well, there you go. Because I know they live for a long time. I knew that. And they don't forget. That's the other thing. Anyway, you're still in control, Dustin. What would you like?
Let's do, my gosh, the library for 100.
The library for 100. Defacing books or shouting or throwing spitballs at the other readers. What does that mean? It's not allowed, or?
I have no idea. What is study hall? I don't know.
I don't understand this. What are they getting at?
I have no clue. I say it reminds me of high school study hall. That's what I can say.
Paul, what were you going to say?
I'll go, what is vandalism or disturbing the peace?
Okay, let's take a look. What are they saying? It's so small I can't read it. These activities prohibited in the library. Yeah, that's what I said. So
okay.
Yeah, and that was probably the easiest question I've ever seen in this game. Mr. Hoog, you're still in control. What would you like?
By
the way,
the
Paul,
world 100.
If you know the answer, just holler out.
Go
The
for it.
world 100, says Dustin. Was that right?
Yep.
On the first day of spring or fall, the sun is directly over this imaginary line.
What is the equator?
The equator is correct. There we go. Dustin's on the board for 100. What would you like, Dustin?
Let's do the earth for 100.
The Earth for 100. An ocean's wave speed largely depends on the speed of this phenomenon in the air above. Sometimes you see people get on top of the waves and use this to go fast. Sometimes they do it when there's no waves across a lake.
What is the skiing? Surfing? What is the windsurf?
Well, you hit me with about 5 answers there. Wind was what we were looking for, so I'm going to have to say no.
Yep.
But you're still in control. Dustin, what would you like?
Animals for 200.
Animals for 200. The biggest marsupial, and I think you'll find them down where I live, if you can pick my accent.
What is a kangaroo?
Kangaroo is correct. Well done, Dustin. On a roll. You're on 200. You're on 300 actually. What would you like?
Animals for 300.
Animals for 300. Heaviest of all poisonous snakes in this North American. Heaviest of all poisonous snakes is this particular North American rattlesnake. It's one of the rattlesnakes. It's the biggest and heaviest. It's also the name of a BMX bike.
That one threw me up. I'm going to say, what is an anaconda?
Mr. Flowers.
What is a diamondback?
Diamondback is what we're looking for. Well done.
All right,
Paul.
we're going to keep rocking in this category. Animals for 400.
You just got 300 points. You've drawn even with one question. Animals for 400. In Argentina, rheas are rounded up in order to get these.
What are sheep?
Sheep. Any idea, Dustin? No.
No clue.
The answer is tail feathers. Oh, they get the tail feathers and make beautiful things with them, I think.
Okay.
Well, there you go. If you say so, Julian. And you're in control still, Paul. What would you
Gonna
like?
go animals for 500.
Animals for 500. Ironically, in 1907, the Bronx Zoo donated 15 of these to the people of Oklahoma. Cowboys? No.
What are horses?
Horses. Yeah, they like horses in Oklahoma. Let's take a look. Buffalo or bison is what we were looking for. Oh, that's where the bison roam as well, out there in Oklahoma.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo. Okay,
There you go.
right, we get that. Okay.
What would you
All
like?
right, we're gonna go. We're gonna pick these points up. Let's go the world for 500.
The world. Reminds me of a Norm MacDonald joke. Of about 10, 30 or 50% percentage of Earth's surface is covered by land. Which is it? 10, 30 or 50% covered by land?
What is 30%?
30%. That sounds pretty good. Right in the middle. And it is correct. Well done, Mr. Flowers. You're on 500 points.
Beautiful.
In the lead.
Let's go the Earth for 500.
The Earth for 500. Go big. Geologists named the material of the Earth's crust Sial because of these two main elements.
What are silver and aluminum?
Silicon and aluminum. So you were close. You
right
were
there.
Very close.
Yeah. Should have known. AG
Silicon
versus
as in
SI.
sand, yeah. What would you like, Paul?
We're gonna go Earth for 400.
Earth for 400. You find one of these at the point where an aquifer intersects the slope of a hillside. Intersects.
What is a river?
A river. Let's take a look. A spring. It was close, but the difference is a spring is always fresh water, which is what an aquifer needs. So that makes sense.
Okay.
What would you like?
See, I like it. I can learn a little something along the way.
That's it. You know, you might go on a real quiz show on TV one day.
Switch it up. Let's go to the library for 500.
The library for 500. Shirley Jones played this part by the book in The Music Man. Shirley Jones is, I think no, I don't know who that is.
What is have no clue for 100?
Have no clue. Me either. The answer we're looking for is Marion the Librarian. This must be just an old movie that nobody has seen. Anyway, what would you like, Paul?
Let's go for the world for 500.
World 500. The term Second World refers to this nation and its nearby allies. So
What is China?
China. It was actually the Soviet Union, which is Russia.
I should have stuck with my first thought. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess China would be in there because they're traditionally allied, but they're probably not so much anymore because
Just wanted Russia. Okay.
Vlad's
We're
gone a
going
bit crazy.
to let's get some of these virgin categories. Let's go trains for 300.
Trains for 300. One of two films made many years ago, more than 30, apart by Buster Keaton and Walt Disney about Civil War's Andrews Raid. I don't know anything about that. Andrews Raid, some raid. And Walt Disney made a movie, and Buster Keaton, who's an old black and white guy that did all those stunts, he did all on the train and, all that was up, but I don't know any of those movies. Do you?
I am absolutely clueless.
Clueless, yeah. My wife would know this. She watches like 100-year-old movies, and then complains when I fall asleep. Paul, what would you like?
19th century Europe for 500.
19th century Europe, 500. Even the papacy, which is the Pope, was represented at the 1814-15 Congress in this city, somewhere in Europe. I've got no idea. What is that? That's a tough.
I'm just going to go with my favorite. What is London?
London, it was Vienna. So I would have said either London, Vienna, or the Vatican. So anyway, what would you like, Paul?
So many choices. Let's go trains for 500.
Trains for 500. 2% of the land in California is still owned by this railroad.
What is BSNF?
Southern Pacific. Is it still around, Southern Pacific?
Yes.
It is. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Paul, what would you like?
Let's go with the library for 400.
Library 400 in this classification system, World War II 940.54 comes before the Civil War 973.7. We're in library.
Dewey Decimal.
Dewey, I remember that from school. You got to look it up on the Dewey. Nowadays we'd be like, what? I'm going to Google something. Well done. You're on 900 points, Paul.
Like, I'm just glad it was something I can answer finally. Let's stick with the library for 300.
You were doing all the 500s, which are hard. Anyway, library 300, when a book has been checked out, it's said to be in this. It's in... borrowed. It's... What is it? It's...
I'm thinking unavailable, but it's in...
It's in, they're saying. It's in use.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take a look. In circulation. Oh, I don't think.
Oh.
They don't say that. They've never said that at the library. I don't believe it. All right.
Yeah. Let's wrap up library for 200.
Library 200. On most reference books in your local library, you'll find this letter above the call number. Goodness me.
What is R?
R. Oh, if you get this, Paul. He's got it. Paul, you are hanging around libraries a bit, or were?
Actually, I do a little bit. It's a guilty pleasure. Let's
good.
go on the Earth. Earth for 300.
The Earth for 300. Where is it? Over here. The Greek and Latin words for this fuel were anthrax and carbo. Anthrax, I thought that was a disease in a heavy metal band.
Right. What is...
It's a fuel. And if it's Greek and Latin, it's probably not gasoline. It's something old.
Exactly. What is kerosene?
Kerosene. Let's take a look. Coal, even, older.
Oh, coal, carbo. Okay. Duh.
Anthrax.
Some of the stuff hits you after the fact. Let's go with the world for 400.
The world, 400. Guinness says more people emigrate from this Latin country than any other in the world. When they say Latin, I think they mean South America.
Country?
Or maybe they also mean like Italy and stuff. Because I did say... Anyway,
what is Colombia?
Colombia. It was Mexico.
They consider that a Latin country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I learned something new there. Let's go the world for 300.
The world for 300. All of the people of the world belong to this single species.
What is Homo sapiens?
Homo sapiens is correct. Well done.
Let's go the Earth for 200.
The Earth for 200. The Mer de Glace is the second longest of these in the Alps. Longest. Not tallest, they said longest.
What is a slope?
Slope.
Ski slope.
It's a glacier,
Oh,
which is a big frozen chunk of ice.
There you go, something new. Let's go trains for 400.
Trains for 400. What we call a passenger car, the British call this. We call it as well the same as the British one. And is a passenger car one of those things that's electric and it's like a miniature train and it goes down the street?
What is a trolley?
Oh, that is one that we do call them that, but not so much. The main one is tram. Carriage. That's we're just talking about normal trains, I think. Train carriage. So you call a passenger car. Is that right? Who knows? What would you like, Paul?
Let's go trains for 200.
Trains for 200. We are in trains. Of course it's about trains. New York City's Madison Square Garden is built over this train station.
Oh, I should know this one.
If you've caught the what do they call this subway? Is it just a subway?
Yeah, in New York and Chicago, we call it the L.
Oh, the L. If you caught the L
Let me
to
see.
the garden to watch a boxing match, you'll know this train station.
What is? I'm just gonna throw out. What is Union Station?
Pennsylvania Station.
Okay, yeah,
That's
yeah.
unusual. Isn't Pennsylvania in Philadelphia?
Quite.
Hmm.
Let's switch it up again. Let's go 19th century Europe for 400.
19th century Europe for 400. Back in 1860, it was the uniform you had to wear to be on Garibaldi's team. Don't know what any of that means. Let's take a look at the answer. That one's tough. A red shirt. Was anyone going to guess that?
Not at all.
Okay, I thought I went too quickly.
19th century for 300.
19th century 300. Encyclopedia Americana, or Wikipedia these days, says it was the cause of a cotton crisis in France during the 1860s.
What is drought?
I'm going to say the Civil War in America. I got it, because they had to make all the uniforms.
Oh, okay. Yep. Alrighty.
All right.
19th century 200.
19th century 200. By 1871, it was the largest kingdom in the German Empire. There's a couple of little German places in Germany. One of them that had an empire starts with a B. That's a clue. The other one starts with a P, but I think it's the B one.
What is?
You okay? Don't have a stroke.
What is? Bang.
Dustin, do you have any idea?
What is Banff for Germany?
What was it?
Banff, B-A-N-F.
B-A-N-F. The answer we're looking for is Prussia. So it was the P one. I thought it was the B one, Bavaria. Anyway, we got 2 questions. Paul, you're in control. What would you like?
19th century Europe 400.
Monarch who ruled England for most of the 19th century.
I'm just gonna go with who's sticking around. Let's go with Queen Elizabeth.
Well, she wasn't the 19th century. The 19th century was like the 1800s, I think. And there was like this kind of really grumpy looking fat woman. That's who I think it was, if you know who that is. She ruled for a long time. And one of the states in Australia is named after her. One of the provinces in Canada is named after her.
What is? Oh.
I
Come
bet.
on. What is?
Starts. Okay, you're gonna know when I give you this clue. Starts with a V.
What is Victoria? Queen Victoria.
Is correct. Well done, Paul. Last question. Trains for 100. At the turn of the century, railroads began to hire bulls to get rid of these. It's pretty mean. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it seems so. And hiring a bull to get rid of anything. What are those people that hop on trains?
Yeah, you
when
got
they're not
it.
supposed to? Yeah.
Hobos.
Oh yeah, stealers of time and train space.
Hobos.
Degenerate.
There
you go.
All those mean words. You got it. And that's the end of the game. Well done. You finished up on 1,600 points. Well done. And Dustin on 300. Dustin came out guns blazing for a couple of questions and then didn't get any good ones coming his way. But well played, nevertheless. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, the winner is
Absolutely.
Paul. So we're going to pass over to Paul and we're going to have a chat to Paul. And tell us about what you're up to, Paul.
Well, thank you so much, first and foremost, Julian, for having me on the show. And I just want to tip my hat to the creativity of bringing the JEOPARDY, right, the Jeopardy, to this space in the podcast world. So what I'm up to currently, I'll just kind of give the whole well-rounded view of who I am. father, family man, married, three children, two here currently as they're weren't not feeling so well. So if you hear any random screaming, I promise I don't hide the children. It's just them and their mother making their way through the house. Aside from that, the thing that's most interesting to me now is actually, I'll call it exposure, if you will. I live here in the States, right outside of Chicago, city named Gary. It's right across the border, actually, Gary, Indiana.
Michael
And
Jackson.
one of the things, yep, there you go. There you go. Home of Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. Okay. All right. Well, clearly you're a historian at this point.
No, my sister-in-law's obsessed with Michael Jackson.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And one of the things that I'd come across in my tenure in the insurance field is that there are companies that do it right and companies that do it wrong. So most of the companies that you come across tend to, I'll just put it out there bluntly and say do it wrong. And that's from the big box employers to the carriers. And with the mission now being exposure, I've literally got the podcast platform, which is there. You see on my personal page, Pope Replays Podcast Show, just to really get out there and connect with people and share information. But a portion of that will be dedicated to actually talking to what I call healthcare heroes. I've got the log of individuals that are getting queued up for interview. And what they're going to discuss are the actual secrets and strategies that employers can use to save billions, and that's billions with a B, on their healthcare plans throughout the United States by simply making what I would consider some simple adjustments, but that all comes from education. So my goal and mission now is to expose and educate the employer population to what's so within the healthcare realm and bring people to a better understanding and put some money back in our country's pockets.
So you help businesses provide healthcare plans, change their healthcare plans that they provide to their employers. So you work? It's insurance, right? Health insurance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And,
yep. Over here, we got to pay for it.
Yeah, and well, we do too. And I mean, we have basic free stuff, but anyway. And what types of businesses do you work for?
So anywhere between 50 employees to 500 is about the target population that I focus on. But if a company comes to me and they've got 2 or 3 employees, I'll be able to help them as well. If they come with 2 or 3 or 10,000 employees, myself and my partners, we'd be able to help them just the same. No specific verticals. Typically, again, just as long as they have a plan or want to get a plan, then we can help them with it.
And there's a lot of people that have plans and they just kind of keep on the same plan. Do you recommend people have a look and a revision of what they've got at certain periods?
110%, Julian. I recently was in a sales summit where right alongside me was a gentleman named Terry Shook. And here in the United States, there are 4 major carriers. We call them the BUCAs. The BUCA stands for Blue Cross, United, Cigna, Aetna. Well, this gentleman, Terry, was a 20-plus year executive for Blue Cross and shared very candidly, as now he serves as a whistleblower to this very same industry, how one year there was one of his clients that were up for renewal. And because he maintains the authority to do so, now typically, for context, health insurance plans go up every year, right? Car insurance, right? Homeowners insurance, most things go up every year. And this particular year, he gave this client a 30% reduction. So it went down, a 30% reduction in premium. Now, all that really means is that somebody else is going to pick up the tab. But the reason why he did it, Julian, was the most impressive part. It had nothing to do with the claims, had nothing to do with the health of the group. It had 100% to do with his own personal opinion because he liked the taste of the company's beer. He liked their beer. He gave a reduction that year. And that I've got dozens of stories like that from other individuals, including myself, from working in one of those big box brokerages which offer these plans. And it was pretty sickening, quite frankly, to learn about that. So to your question, do I recommend that they look on a regular basis? Absolutely. And quite frankly, very candidly, if they're working with a big box broker, and those are like the Willis Towers Watsons, the Brown and Browns, the USIs of the world, I'd highly recommend that they get an external third-party opinion. a consultant, somebody that has a designation in the Health Rosetta and or Next Gen Mastermind space, as those specific organizations take it's about the people, not about the profit approach. So they'll cut the commissions and focus on the client and not have those hidden incentives, which the big box brokers typically carry. So yes, every year, shop that price.
It's always the way. The big companies get away with much more shenanigans because they're the first people everyone thinks of. So they get massive amounts of business. And then if you go to the more boutique providers, they are way more consumer friendly, and they generally will make it a better deal for you. So that's in insurance, that's in a lot of things, mortgages and stuff like that as well. Well, and how long have you been in the insurance game, Paul? It's a tough game.
So the game itself started 20 years ago in college when I was doing prepaid legal. It's Legal Shield now. So that was legal insurance. I then moved into life insurance around 2010, 2011, did some corporate stuff in between. And in 2014, that's when I kind of found that claim to fame, if you will, and went into health insurance. And I'll tell you, Julian, when I realized that a few things, now just a couple quick stories. One, when I'd started there, management said, keep a low profile, float right in the middle, right? Don't aim too high because they'll look at you. Don't aim too low because then you'll be in trouble. And interestingly enough, that same advice was given on a different campaign at the same company. Ironically enough, at another company that a friend of mine worked at, the same advice was given. So there's a strange aura when it comes to providing high quality service to human beings in the health insurance space that for whatever reason management's not so keen on. So suffice it to say, I ignored that and rocked it out my very first year. 84 some odd % conversion, ended up third highest in sales. And I bring that up to say that I spent more time with each person. So I had lower amount of sales, but I spent more time with each person to truly find out what their actual needs were, number one. But number two, because I had my 6 and 60, my securities registration, Series 6 and 63 allows you to sell mutual funds and all that stuff with specific companies. I looked at things from a fiduciary standpoint. So I looked at it from the client's bottom line standpoint, not mine, nor the company that I was working for, which it all worked out. Ultimately, I moved into management, moved into training. And with that, though, I began to sit behind the closed doors and realize that, again, they weren't really for the people. And when they're not for the people, it's not something that personally I can continue to align myself with. So in 2017, I scooted out of there and started Superior Insurance Advisors. And as we say, the rest is history.
Yeah, and I think the market's waking up as well, and they are not wanting to get into one of these companies that is like that, especially with the old Luigi situation.
Right.
People want something different, so it's good that you're part of that. And so if you're out there and you've got a business and you either need to have a look at your insurance, get some more insurance, or just see if you can save some money, have a chat to Paul. He's been doing it for ages, and he's been doing it the right way. Paul, where are you located?
I'm in the lovely little city of Gary, Indiana.
Oh, that's right. You are, Gary. Yep, of course.
Jackson 5, baby, but yeah. I'm by way of Chicago. I'm in Chicago every day. Okay. So we'll say the Gary and Chicagoland area.
Gary and Chicagoland area, and people can just give you a call anyway. You don't need to meet in person, do you?
Absolutely. I do most work virtually. Consultations are free. Again, no charge. You can reach me at my website, which is the one you've got pulled up, www.paul.health. And then you can also ring me right on the telly, 844-513-5433.
Awesome. Okay. Well, the website's in the show notes, so you'll better find that wherever you're listening or watching this. Have a chat to Gary. Thank you very much. Gary Flowers Jr. from Gary. I called you Gary Flowers. Paul Flowers from Gary. Goodness.
There we go. Perfect. You got it, Julian. Thank you so much.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks for that, Paul. Now let's pop over the ditch, maybe, and have a chat to Dustin. Where are you, Dustin?
So I'm 4.5 hours south of Paul in St. Louis, Missouri, actually.
Oh, Missouri. And now I think of the
State.
Cardinals when you say
Yep.
St. Louis. That's the baseball team.
That was, yeah.
Is that on? When's the baseball start? Is it on?
It's
on
already
now.
started.
Yeah,
I was,
it's on. Yeah.
yep, I was actually at the game Sunday. So 2 days ago, me and the family were at the game. So
That's on my bucket list to go to a major league game. Probably either the Yankees Stadium, as all tourists want to do, or the Boston one with the big green wall.
yep,
Yeah, what's it called? Fenway.
Fenway, yeah.
Fenway, yeah. All right, well, enough rubbish talk about baseball. Now, you're a flipper, is that right?
I'm a little bit of everything, but yes, we are a real estate investor. I mean, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a business coach, and then we do a lot of investing in real estate.
Sorry to reduce you down to that flipper, but
It's all good.
you flipped your first house quite a few years ago, and you were a real estate agent to start with, or a broker. Is that correct?
Yep. So I've been a real estate agent since 2013, and we started investing in 2017.
Excellent, and then you got out of that after selling lots of houses, and now you help people learn how to get into the property market. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still an investor and we're still an agent. I'm still an agent. But I really focused on teaching other real estate agents and families. I kind of run two different brands, but one is the wealth building agent, one is the wealth building family, but teach people how to invest in real estate, especially the single family market. So just regular single people's houses or single family houses. To me, I believe it's the safest investment you can do, and it's the easiest way to create wealth in this country.
100%. I saw this picture many years ago when I was a little boy, and it had a picture, and it said, "This is the guy who waited for real estate prices to go down," and there was just a skeleton sitting in a seat, and I was like, "Oh, does it keep going up? That's interesting." So,
And it does.
investing in real estate is the safest, and as well, you can get more on the stock market, but then you get these catastrophic moments where you lose your ass, like what's just happened with the tariffs, and if you want to just, property will have the occasional thing like the subprime thing, but that just slowed things down for a couple of years, and then it's back on, and then overall over 10 years you're still way up. That's how I feel about real estate anyway. And so mostly you're helping families get into the market. What are some of the barriers that they have, would you say?
Well, it kind of brings me to the point that you were just talking about how the stock market can do better, except for you have to use your own money in the stock market. So with real estate, I don't have to use my own money to get into the market. I don't have to use my own money to acquire a property. I don't have to use my own money to rehab a property. So many people think that what's holding them back is actually the money. And money is, if a deal is good enough, money will find itself. Money is a renewable resource, in my opinion, and you can always find it. And that is, once people realize that you can use someone else's money for real estate, that's why it's going to outproduce any investment out there, because no one has ever loaned me money to invest in the stock market.
No, that wouldn't be a good idea. And what about what sort of deposit do people need generally to get started, or how much equity in their own house do they need?
So really, I mean, you can do it. It depends on you can do it with no money and no savings. You just have to find a partner at that point, or find a private lender. Right? Because you are purchasing houses, or what we teach is you are purchasing houses that need more value. So you are buying them under value. That's the big thing. And there's always properties out there that are either distressed properties or in a distressed situation. What I mean by that is, you inherited your Uncle John's house and you never even really met Uncle John. Now you own this house in, St. Charles, Missouri. What am I supposed to do with this? And I live in Chicago. So you're going to sell it at a discount because A, you don't know where St. Charles is, and B, you don't want this house. So an investor like myself will pay at a certain formula for this house, and I get to borrow money from someone else to pay for it.
Yeah.
And they get a return on their money.
Yep. Yeah, what you were saying, there is so many opportunities to buy things like divorces and things come up, and the court says, "Oh, you got to sell it within whatever," and there's all types of things. And now you mentioned partnerships. How do people? Because that's a really great one. I know people that do this, and they get together and they start going partnerships in property. How do they find somebody to do if they don't have somebody?
Really, they just start asking, right? Because it doesn't have to be, it's not Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos money that you need to start with, right? It's someone with a pretty good IRA or a pretty good 401k from their job that they've been at for 50 years, and they can actually lend money from their own IRA, right? So you just need to tell people, hey, this is what I'm looking to do, and I can give you a certain percent on your money. And the more you talk to people, which is a weird concept these days, but the more you talk to people, the more money you're going to be able to find, right? So we teach you how to pitch that, which is really just saying, hey, do you want a certain return on your money? It's safer than the stock market because a tweet has never hurt the value of real estate. And you're insured, right? So you get to buy insurance on this. So as the lender, you're the bank. Remember that. So if something happens to the house, the insurance is going to pay you first before they pay me. And if I don't pay you, you get the house. Right? So when people realize that their money is safe, then you can find money pretty easily.
And timing as well, Dustin, because right now everybody is terrified of the stock market and they're buying things like gold and real estate. So the real estate is set to go up a lot, I think, in the United States especially. Now, I had another question for you. I can't remember it, but what do people do? So you do courses, but the first thing for people to do is to jump on and have a chat to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm an open book. I talk to people, so we schedule a discovery call. Are you the right fit for real estate? Are you the right fit for us to be coached? I coach one-on-one, and I have group coaching courses as well. But my goal is to help everybody create more wealth. I mean, just like Paul talked about, things are going to go up in prices every single year, period. That's just the reality we live in.
Yeah.
And the job of, a good job of making $100,000 to $150,000 a year almost just doesn't cut it anymore. I mean, we're insulated in the Midwest compared to certain areas in the country, but it's still, everything's expensive. I mean, taking your family out to a fast food restaurant's $30, $40, $50 now, right? So I want to help more people build wealth and build income, because I can go flip 4 or 5 houses a year, which is not hard, and make an extra $150,000 a year while I'm buying rental property that's going to increase my net worth, right? So I can do that pretty easily with my job, or as for real estate agents, with you being a real estate agent. Right. So once you have that trifecta of income, flips, and rentals, you're just going to accelerate where it's not going to be such a strain to take your family on vacation. Right. Because the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life, period.
Yeah. It's definitely a good idea. And I forgot my other question I was going to ask you. So, so how do you help people find the undervalued properties? Is that how you get involved?
Great question. I teach them how to find their own, right? I'm going to teach a person how to fish versus me finding it for themselves.
All right. And then how do you get paid?
So it depends on which, coursing you're wanting, but you pay me pretty much as a retainer to be your coach.
Okay, cool. So you don't even get your fingers on the equity or anything.
No, I don't want equity. That's your equity. You're going to pay me to consult and coach you.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. And so anybody out there, look, you need to look at real estate if you're in the position, and maybe you think you're not in the position to buy real estate, but I didn't know you could do things like use your super. We call it super. You call it, what do you call it? IRA?
IRA, yeah, or 401ks that your business gives you. Yeah, absolutely. You can use someone else's IRA. Don't use your own, but someone else's IRA, they can lend out of there. It's called the self-directed IRA, and we can teach people how to do that, what companies to go through. And then that's how they can build up. That IRA is going to go up tax-free.
Yeah.
and probably a higher percentage than they're playing in the market anyway right now.
So these people that are self-managing their own fund, they're allowed to invest in things, and you can go to them. Hey, look, I'm buying 3 houses. You want to invest in it, and that's how you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yep,
there's
absolutely.
a lot of opportunities out there, and all sorts of interesting things. If you know how to do it, which I don't, so maybe you should have a chat to Dustin Hoog. So I've put your website in the show notes as well if you want to have a chat to Dustin, and down there in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you very much for coming on, Dustin.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, that's very interesting. We had some great guests today. I hope you learned something, and thanks for playing, guests, and thanks for listening and watching. See you next